Alright guys, bit of a different video today. Rather than having a chosen car that we're going to, we are heading to Motorvation Garage. I don't know yet what car we're going to be filming. It is about 9 o'clock in the morning, probably still an hour away. No idea what car we're going to be filming yet. Of course I know roughly what is there, but it really depends. So yeah, I'm very, very excited. Alright guys, here we are at Motorvation Garage, and I am very, very lucky they are letting me drive anything here. So I thought I would take this opportunity to drive something that maybe I'm not so familiar with. But before we get into that, have a look at some of these cars. This is awesome. If you guys remember, I had one of these on the channel. This is the first time I've seen this car. I haven't asked about it. I don't know whether it's genuine or not. But it does have the right interior and it's got all the right badges. We also had this awesome HR one owner grandma thing, but unfortunately this car is sold, so we can't take this, but very, very cool thing this one we might though. This is a HQ with an LS1 and it's twin turbo. This car scares me a little bit, if I'm honest, so not sure yet but we'll jump in here. I think I'm gonna do the EH. So this EH has a 383 in it, the yesteryear LS swap, so I reckon this would be a really cool thing. If you guys have followed along with the channel, you know we did do this guy over here, and if we keep going, I'd also like to do this car. Now, one of the reasons I want to try some of the stuff that isn't Commodores is, well, why not? Why not, right? And I feel like I know Commodores reasonably well. I don't know these cars at all, so I think it would be cool video to experience it for the first time, so let's get started. We have decided on our first one. This is something that I've never driven before. This is an EH with a 383. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because it's kind of the old school modification. Anyway, we'll start her up. I've never driven an EH before, and I have never driven this car before either. I'll just give it a little throttle. Sounds very, very good. We'll just have a little walk around, but how good does this thing look? Looks absolutely fantastic. Just all of the chrome styling and just really cool. I love quarter windows. Such a shame that we got rid of those. I love the buttons that you press. It's just 1960s. All right, this is my first time ever driving it. I'll just turn the radio down. Like I said, it is a little bit of a resto mod, but like I said, handbrake, okay, there we go. Now it is drive, there we go. So he did say throttle was very touchy, and it is. First time ever driving something like this. I love the steering wheel, it's so basic, and these buttons. The brakes are better than I expected. I love with these old cars how the, yeah right, sorry, 1 second. Jesus. Okay, that was like no throttle, really. All right, I'm gonna take it easy on this thing. I want to be nice and easy, and last thing I would want to do is hurt a beautiful car like this, but man, this is cool. It does feel quite skinny though, I have to admit. It does feel very, very skinny, which is a little bit of a surprise. We won't put that in the video. All right, now I'm not going to be able to go flat knacker in one of these because it's just going to wheel spin like crazy, and that's the last thing I want to do. But once we're going up there, I'll give it a little bit, of course. But wow, it is plenty fast enough. I can promise you that. It really is. It really is enough. One thing that's quite funny I've noticed is if I put my foot down, I've got more fuel. And if I slow down, it goes away. You know, the other modification that this car has, and I know it's a bit boring and captain's safety, but having these modern seat belts, I think that's a really good idea, especially with how much balls this thing has got. So all of the cars that I'll film today are currently for sale, which is the other thing that's fantastic about this particular one. And something that we're missing a bit with newer cars is this one is just a fantastic colour. It really is. All right, we'll jump out and I'll show you guys the outside and I'll show you the engine bay. How cool. And actually, one thing, if we just look down here, is you have to, there you go. That's my my one-hand trick. I learned that off the Premier. All right, I really want to show you the engine bay, 383. And I hope you guys like this style of video. We're going to do a few cars today. And there she is. There is our 383. Extremely thick radiator. It's just, yeah, it's awesome. And maybe one day I'll have a standard EH to compare it to. Alright, so I have decided to take you guys with me just for 2 minutes. I love this steering wheel. It's one of my favourite parts about the car, but I can't believe how skinny it feels. Hope you guys like these kind of videos. You know, I was thinking about doing a proper review, but the reality is I thought for modified stuff maybe this is a little bit of a different style. And just like the Holden 5 litre, this thing kind of well, actually no, this is different. This one is actually quite quick. And here we go. Very, very cool. All right, so the next car that we're going to take is this. I'm really quite excited about this, and how could you not be, because this is a genuine VL Turbo SL, but not just any one. It has been completely, fully restored, no expense spared, and it is a genuine BT1, which is even cooler. I mean, just have a look in here. It is absolutely fantastic, and we'll show you the engine bay. I don't need to tell you guys about these. You already know everything about them. There is our RB30, absolutely fantastic. I love how clean all of this stuff is. This is definitely one of the most iconic 80s Holdens for sure. All right, I am very excited about this. Running like an absolute dream. Now, for anyone that isn't familiar with these cars, these are icons, frankly. God, it's smooth, isn't it? Just speaking to my cameraman there, how smooth is it? God, they really knocked it out of the park with the VL, and I know that's no surprise that I think that, being the Commodore man, but they are just fantastic old cars, these. Just beautiful things, comfortable, reliable, and this one is, you know, I'm sure would have a bit of a colourful history, being a genuine BT1, and also it's got no power steering. God, I would love one of these. Back in the day I had a VL Turbo. It was a wagon manual, and if I'm honest, before this channel I didn't know if I'd ever drive one ever again, but luckily I was wrong. It's just the best. So because it is a completely standard build, it doesn't have the VL Turbo dose, right, that you're all used to, but this one does have a bit of a whistle. which is very, very cool. And we will do a little haul in a second, but God, this is so cool. Oh, I'm in power mode, that's why so if you put it in power mode, your gear shifts can be a little harsh, which is what had just happened there. It's crazy that this is 40 years old because it really drives fantastic, honestly. Genuine VL turbo BT1 is the duck's nuts, and you know, if you're watching this, I've probably already done it, but as I'm filming this video, I'm doing a VL Calais turbo this week. The BT1s, I'm sure if you're unfamiliar, are the police car. So this is an old Victorian police car, I believe, and has been very restored. These cars used to be worth, you know, I paid $3,000 or $4,000 for my last VL turbo. One like this though is a lot more than that now, especially during COVID. The values of these absolutely skyrocketed, and they're just so cool. I could bang on all day about this car, about why it exists. You know, the Holden 202 couldn't run on unleaded. Holden was running out of time. They got the RB30 from Nissan, but the yen was doing really well against the Australian dollar, so Holden lost money. Holden didn't really do very well out of this collaboration at all. But the end product was a really cool car that has become an icon of 1980s Australia. Usually they go, yeah, these are just the duck's nuts, and God, I know I said that I want one of these, but honestly that is untrue. I think I need one of these. That's what I really need to say, and I'm very, very privileged to be driving a standard one. Most of these have been modified to the wall. You know, they weren't really a rare car back in the day, but now, 40 years on, original ones like this, you just don't see them anymore. It just drives so smooth. It's unbelievable. Fuel injection, obviously, just a real good thing. All right, and now you guys are seeing what I'm seeing, and now that we're nice and warm, I wanted to do, I don't know, a 0 to 100, and we will put it in power. There we go. Now, again, it's not going to dose. It's a completely standard car. You might be able to hear the whistle and the slight turbo noise. I don't know, honestly, but I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, rather, is what I mean. So we're in an 80 zone. It didn't want to gear down there for some reason. It definitely wasn't in first. It just geared down just as we got up to the speed limit. Yeah, it is interesting. I'm not sure why that turbo flutter got associated with this car now that I think about it, but it definitely did. But we'll turn our turbo thing off. But yeah, in standard form, they're not the fastest thing by today's standards. But you know what? Does that really matter? No, I don't think so. They're still very, very cool, and you know, a lot of the other classic cars are great fun to drive, but this thing it drives like a brand new car. Like, it is so smooth and comfortable, especially this one because it's in such good nick, and it's all right, so there's a few new things going on here. Now, I have never driven one of these ever. This is a Chevrolet C10 1980. I've never driven one. I've got no experience with it. So my first impressions is I'm sitting really far away, and this thing is huge. And I've also only ever driven a left-hand drive car once. So at first we're going to drive just a little bit slowly. All right, it is time to go. Very, very cool. Oh, there's no... All right, so reverse. That's neutral. Oh. Oh. God, it's such a small steering wheel for, oh my God, this feels like I'm driving a truck. And I guess I sort of am. God, this thing feels enormous. I don't know too much about these cars, I admit. We'll pull over in a second and I'll tell you guys a bit more, but I need to focus on driving right now because this is such a different experience. I'm sure you can tell by my extremely thick accent, I am very much an Aussie. I do not drive anything left-hand drive, and it is, I'm sure it'll be fine in a second, but at the moment, it is something that I really need to think about. It is weird driving it on the other side of the road. Man, this thing is really cool though. Just so much space. You could comfortably fit 3 people in here. There is no question about that at all. Such a cool thing. Oh, that was not on purpose. This thing is so cool, but again, I really have to pay attention here. It's very unusual for me to drive something like this, but I feel like I'm getting the hang of it already. It just feels so wide. I feel like I've got to be really right over on this side of the line. It's just not very often do you get to drive something like this, that's for sure. It's just so big. I can't imagine this would be particularly good on fuel, if I'm honest, but that's not what it's about, is it? So what we'll do is, I'll give it one more go. We'll pull over, I'll give you guys a better walk around, especially in the tub, and we'll have a look under the bonnet, and I'll tell you guys what's under there. Just at my little favourite spot, and what we're going to do is we'll park up, and I want to show you guys under the bonnet. Now, I have not looked under there, and I have not, well, that's the handbrake, turn it off. I actually don't know what's under there, if I'm honest. I didn't know that I was going to do this car, so that's why, but let's have a look. I'm sure it's something, well, I do know that it's a V8. All right, and if we have a look under here, there she is. That is definitely a 350 Chev. Alloy heads as well, looks like it. So very, very cool. Again, it's not a small engine, but it looks tiny in here. This is ridiculous. I really, really like this car. It's kind of silly, but it's in a very, very likable way. I really like this color. And if we jump around the back here, just everything is great about this. The wheels, here's a better look at the interior. Such a cool thing. It's been a little bit of a puzzle to figure out how to open this, but I think I've got it. Maybe. Yep, there we go. Hopefully that was right. There we go. And figure out how to open that. Well, that's much simpler. There we go. Now this one has been sprayed with bed liner, which is really cool, but it's just absolutely massive, isn't it? So now that I've taken off the tarp, I've just been trying to play around with how this mechanism works. I've never used it before, but it's very satisfying. It's got to be outside, so you sort of just sit it in this channel and kind of just press down and it just clicks. How good is that? There's a bit of a science to that actually, and then that's not quite as complicated, I admit, just a handle there. But you know, as we can see, I really like these designs. I have to be honest, I don't know what they specify. I don't know much about this ute, but truck rather. I shouldn't say ute, but I did want to feature it because I'm sure there are people out there that know everything about these. All right, time for a highway pull. I changed my mind, we'll do one. All right, and like I said, it's not massively fast, but that's not what it's about anyway, is it? It is very cool, and I probably used about 20 bucks of fuel just doing that. I have to admit, I was hoping to drive this. Unfortunately, this car, well, unfortunately for me, fortunately for them, this car has sold. This is a 1967 XR wagon, and it is very, very cool, but it has two features which I really wanted to show you. I mean, these are a rare thing now. These are not, you don't see these every day. But anyway, what I wanted to show you is you're looking at that and you're thinking that's a bit chunky. You can pull this out. There we go. And now we can wind down the back window. How cool is that? Now, if you guys remember, we had a HZ Prem wagon on the channel and that was electric. I had no idea. How cool is that? It works so well. Anyway, we'll come back to that. The other thing that I really wanted to show you is that this particular wagon, if I can reach in, is a factory numbers matching 289, and it sounds tough as old nails. So a big thank you to Motorvation for letting me run rampant here for the day. It has been really, really cool, and yeah, if you guys are looking for these kind of cars, you should definitely check them out in Hallam. And it's so cool, and stuff is flying off the shelf here. It is unbelievable how quick stuff is going. And just the quality of cars here is really high. Obviously, they are going to be a premium, but you don't find cars like this every day anymore. I mean, just look at it. Just looks absolutely fantastic. Anyway, thank you guys for following along, liking and subscribing. I really, really appreciate it.